So I couldn't find a cheaper bin man. After having the bin man I purchased as my worker of 3 years, I have to see if we can negotiate the price of having less bins. There's something wrong with the camera. It seems to be time-lapsed. It's slow. He seems to have possessed me in the aspect of his license fee, because he is licensed to carry the waste, and the government has recently made it more expensive. And at the same time, they've stopped my free services, so it's an exploitation and demonisation of my free services if I was in a house and not in a flat, which is unfair, policymakers, and even more disturbing that they're targeting the disabled and the vulnerable. So nearly all of my money that I receive is gobbled up by the bin man. And I want to make him realise that I don't want him to go off with all of it. And to see if he will understand why I am in this element of bondage by the world, enslavement, and also without a child, without family. As a type of a foreigner in my own country, I've lived here since I was 6 years old, and even with the British citizenship, they are overreaching their deliberate discrimination, and there is no liberty for me. So how other people receive their benefits, who they deem to be English natives, to supply them all their civil rights, and they target those that they know have come here as legal migrants who are sick and disabled. We are treated differently in England since Brexit. So I have to purchase my liberty and pay a price for my freedoms living in England. I have to purchase my being honoured in England because of, as I say, deliberate discrimination, and the supply and provision is for the natives. And I'm saying I'm more British, I'm more native in Christ as a Christian woman, who much more compared to them, who are in fact criminals and who are removing our they're targeting our citizenship, and they're targeting our reputation, our children, and our freedoms in England. And this is racism. So everything that I need, I have to be brave enough to confront, and brave enough to see if my worker would understand and sympathise. And it's very difficult to find a solicitor with legal aid that would cover several different various areas of laws. They only say you could have one and not the other. You can have discrimination, or you could have housing litigation, or you can claim for compensation. One out of the three. You cannot have all three. And I find it extremely difficult to find such a law firm as a result, and to be properly represented, not misrepresented, and understood, not judged partially according to political bullies and professional bullies. And I have to have strangers come in my home. They've created a crisis with a boiler, with a bathroom, and the bad tank in the loft, to give them the opportunity to access my property, my home. Those who are against me, those who disrespect me, willfully ignorant for a whole month, they said they couldn't appear at my front door because I wouldn't give them access, and that's a lie. I said I would not give access to the one individual who was misrepresenting me, not to the surveyor I wanted to see, and I was calling after the other surveyor has left the company. 2 surveyors were supposed to see me. One was Kieran, and the other one was Toby. Neither of them came because Casey was interfering and writing false reports about me, which is a character assassin. Manipulation and the multiplication of disinformation and gossips. It's the first time I actually came out of my home. They already demonised me. My neighbours are hell. And I was simply making inquiries. Who the dog walker was and whose the children it belonged to, the football that was kicked around the no-zone area. So they quickly changed that to suit their narratives and empty me of my civil rights. So I'm trapped. I'm imprisoned in my own home by political narcissists and abusers of powers, despite the fact that I'm housebound and need my sleep and rest and peace and quiet, because I have chronic pain every day. So they're ignoring that. They will apologise and carry on doing the wrong thing, and force me to work with this Casey worker, with my landlord, who is disrespectful and would discourage me, not allow any miracle to happen. Every time they step their foot in the door, they break the property and then blame it on me. And they have made a new policy that says they cannot complete the task of repair or refurbishment in two or three consecutive days, one day after the other. They have to come when it's convenient for them and not convenient for me. So this abuse continues. And they have the abundance of liberty, my neighbours. So I'm treated differently. It's not equal opportunities. And it's absolutely overpowering me and outnumbering me with their strength versus all my physical weaknesses. And it's very wrong. So it's one thing after the other. And I feel threatened in my own home as a result of that, thinking what's going to be next, feeling how are they going to pick me while I'm down and add insult to injury. They do it deliberately. They already know what they could do to find loopholes. They're totally loopy in breaking the law and then protecting the criminals as gods and goddesses, and how they're high and mighty and lord over me. So I do need witnesses, and this is why I am also using the Samaritans to help. And when I do have some money to spare, I will provide a donation to the charity. So I use them as a talking therapy and counselling sessions because it's not concentrating on the NHS mental health. They're a separate charity. I don't like the NHS mental health services because it's a total mess. And they will misdiagnose you and force you to take medication for a wrong treatment, which is nightmarish. It's a horror. And they will destroy life. So it's extremely dangerous, the NHS mental health services. I'm also using a company called PALS, P-A-L-S, to complain against the NHS mental health services. And that's going to continue in August. I would like to have some summer holiday. I'm planning to see this Casey from my housing, which is Thrive Homes, on Monday the 9th of June, with the independent worker, who is Dawn, and I think Daniel, it is, coming to see me. on the 9th of June, that's tomorrow. I did request to issue an improvement notice to say I've been abandoned for a whole month. I kept calling them at the beginning, at the end of the week once. I paid a rent when I didn't have to pay, but I did it because I wanted to be in credit because the housing benefit's very slow coming. And they've also demand to have documents, which the Three Rivers already have, that says I don't have to pay an under occupancy fee, whereas Drive Home says I do and they keep charging me, which is a fraud. BT's also defrauding me by default. Says that I owe £700 when I paid my last bill, which was £12. And they blatantly are bullies, attacking my finances, attacking my relationships, attacking my summer holidays, and they're a fortified tower of racism and blocking cultural diversity and cancelling my culture. So when my daughter lived with me for 10 years of her life, nearly, almost 10 years, when I freely allowed her to play in the neighbourhood with the children in the surrounding areas, or even in the park, we were stalked even in the park, they would block other children playing with my daughter. So I'm revealing this in the public, how bad they actually are, and the significance of me being British, to say, well, I have a British citizenship, I speak British. If I need to speak Serbo-Croat, it's in the privacy of my own home, it's never outside. Ja wolę dopiero srpski język. I used to know a grandmother, who is now dying or dead, who has been badly influenced by an Indian super rich family that separated me from her, and my ex-mother-in-law separated me from her, so she's the only one that I know in England to speak in Serbo-Croat. I don't know anybody else. I never had the opportunity, I never had the time or the money to travel to go and find a community of other Serbians in England. They also have no mercy to say that I'm a communist. I'm not a communist. They, again, are insulting to say that because I am not born in England, that I was born in Belgrade, I must have a political spy in England. I don't. I'm totally on my own. My nearest relatives, who are half-caste English and Serbian, are in Cambridge. They're also merciless. So I don't have any access to any Serbian community or religion, which is Orthodox, because my very presence is an offence to them that I'm a lone survivor. They can't tolerate that. They always have to do a groupthink. They always have to discriminate against my disability. This is the English and the Serbian. And they forget, or they overlook the fact that I never had surgery, I only had pain relief, and that I never had a cure, I only had pain relief. And so in the moment I mention that, they turn a blind eye and ignore me. And so I don't have that equilibrium, I don't have that fair and equal society, or that opportunity. Everything's privatised. Every session costs a lot of money for my medication, for pain relief, and for the hospitals being privatised. So it's even more difficult just to begin, to start, and to come to a stop, to a finish. I like to complete whatever I do. I like to have correct knowledge and information. So I am one in a million of a persecuted Christian that is evidently not a criminal, not a drug abuser, not an addict, just not smoking, not doing all these bad things. But at the same time, my prayer is, God have mercy on me. I have sinned. I have done bad things for marrying a bad man as a one-off. That bad man is bad. Ex-husband is dead. I have right by God to remarry. So I have done no wrong, comprehending the fact that the redemption is mainly through Christ being my saviour, compared to starving from not having the correct medication, starving from not having the resources or the flow of the correct food, the correct nutritions, without costing a huge amount of money. So it is starving the poorest and the most vulnerable through these main problems to find a recovery. It's a one-off in every 3 to 6 months pattern, so it's not an ongoing flow. So, for example, I would need a celery stick every day. I would need a dark chocolate button every day to help me go to the toilet regularly. Instead, they offer me senna, which is a laxative to go to the toilet, which is disgusting and also very harmful. So I'd rather have a little chocolate button, or hot chocolate, or something such as passion fruit also, if I had one of those every day. Also helps me go to the toilet regularly, with powder sugar, not the granulated sugar. So this is called icing sugar, and it's white powder that looks like drugs, and it's not drugs, it's white powder sugar. So here it is, it's like powder. And so you just put that on the orange or fruit and then dilute it with water. So that's my invention, in alternative to senna. And it helps me go to the toilet regularly when I cannot exercise normally like normal people do, due to the fact that I cannot walk far, only 10 metres or 20 metres, without a lot of pain, and my spine becomes bent. So no one cares, not even the caring professional. If they say they are concerned or care, it is only because they want the money and they want to keep their jobs. As I close my video, it's Mima in early June 2025. I wonder if I can keep recording this and the call at the same time. Probably not. So I can record my voice, but not his voice. That has to be monitored on a separate camera.